I first came to LiveJasmin November, maybe late October. I'm going to say November of 2020. And although I knew about it forever, or what seems like forever, I just never had the desire to create an account and do the live chat thing. I think what changed for me was that whole pandemic hit and the election really made everything I did social media wise ridiculously terrible. It was a my way or hate me type thing, and I just could not do that. So it really, I think, is primarily my reason for wanting to find chat elsewhere. Then, as I mentioned, the young boys moving out of the house. My wife works some longer hours. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I was lonely, but I was alone very often. And you know, then the COVID pandemic hits, and so anything to do was kind of in your own home. And when I got fed up with the social media, I really did go out and say, I'm gonna go chat, and I enjoyed it.
That's incredible to me. So you basically were so tired of the negativity on social media because of the pandemic. I know the craziness of the elections, and you basically went searching for a more positive digital space.
And research. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you. That seeing women in provocative clothes was also appetizing. But yeah, I was always more seeking information, getting to know how things were in their countries. And I am happily married. I know that sounds like an awkward thing for a man to say, but I'm not looking to replace any love in my life.
Beautiful.
But it was, yeah, I guess it was all them little things happen, you know, that all the timing items that kind of put me there. And man, I truly enjoy it. Everybody thinks porn when they think of these places. And the difference to me is they're not acting a script. The models aren't. They're real people, real feelings. And you don't discover that till you learn more about them, you know.
Right. That's absolutely true. I actually want to ask you, you mentioned people just assume sites like Jasmin are porn, but as you've discovered and briefly said, they're actually quite different. Can you talk to me about some of the differences that you see between a website like Jasmin as opposed to traditional porn?
The live interaction. Jasmin, you get, you know, you get to meet somebody for real. And if there's a trust between the two, you create your own thing. I've seen all kinds that are out there doing the, you know, just in free chat, you see people talking role play and this or that. And I understand, you know, for most men, that's it. You're looking for somebody to interact with, not just watch somebody else interact.
Right. So for you, it's more about that connection, that engagement with another human being.
Without getting too emotional, something emotional.
Right.
When I came in 2020, it was like, wow, look at these rooms, look at these girls, look at these lights. I mean, you can just tell the whole studio, it's more than a pretty girl behind a camera. It's a production. I assume.
Well, that actually leads me to my next question, because what I hear from what you're saying is that you really see the quality in the models and their shows. Have you been to, or are you a member of other cam sites? And if you are, or you've experienced them, how would you say Jasmin compares to them?
I don't think any of them compare, and I've made accounts on just about all of them. and Jasmine's quality is second to none. The interface, and I might be saying this because it's the first place I came to, but the interface is so user friendly. I don't ever get lost in what I'm doing here. Not to completely disregard all the other places, but some of the pages look too busy. I feel like some of them, some of them will throw these things like huge credit bonus, but then a room's 100 credits a minute, or whatever their token policy is. I think they're trying to catch up, and they're behind.
Well, that's nice to hear.
And I'm not just trying to flatter you there. I'm as transparent as a man can be. Jasmine is the best. It's got the best rooms. It's got the best models. It's got the best lights. It's got the best cameras.
Yeah.
I think the range is very large, for anybody, whether you're actually searching for a certain type or a certain price, it can be found.
How often do you use the site?
In the beginning, it was the first thing I would do when I come home from work, was, browse a little bit, but I'd already started to, collect a few favorites that, you wanted to chat with, telling jokes too, and, just had a laugh that made you authentic. I guess I've always kind of looked for something genuine, not just somebody that's there to act for me.
Right.
And I felt like anytime I could tug on somebody's emotion from the other side of the equator, planet, whatever you want to call it, I thought that was unique, to have that.
What would you say is like the biggest value or benefit that Jasmine is bringing into your life on a day-to-day basis?
Number one, I've taught myself, or Jasmine's helped. When you create a relationship with somebody in other countries, I feel like then you look at us more as a human being and not an American. If that makes any sense.
It does, yeah.
I think we're too often maybe too self-righteous, and I'm not saying America's a bad country. I'm a veteran, but I think the American people often forget that there's human beings on the other side that are good people.
So would you say like it's kind of opened your eyes to the other culture?
Absolutely. I sometimes avoid arguments when somebody tries to bash or trash another country, because they don't know. They don't know what I know. And I don't know it without chatting and learning from other people in those places, really learning from them, not just reading the news or something that might have been propagandally created. I'm chatting with human beings on their side who have to live in their world.
Right. So that's really, you bring up a fascinating point in that the site almost acts as a knowledge and information base for everyone.
It definitely did for me with the COVID. Hands down, I didn't have to decide whether it was going to be CNN or Fox News. I went to those places.
I love that.
And you find out when somebody's been quarantined to their studio for 7 days.
How does learning these things about other countries, and I'm assuming that you've started to develop connection and relationship with some of these models that are going through these things, how does that knowledge impact you?
I'd prefer to see the world on a global perspective. Now I know about people in other places and how good we have it. And it makes you care, and you see things going on the other side that are possibly violent, or somebody, man, I care. I want to know they're well, especially the ones I've created relationships with.
Right. I remember going to Peru and Africa when I was actually just in high school. And I was shocked. I was like, whoa, okay, the life that I know is not everyone's reality. And I was able to see that at such a young age. So it's almost like you're getting some of the benefits of traveling, where your whole perspective is widened, but
Yes.
you don't actually have to travel.
Though I don't have to travel, and I feel like you're getting it from the real citizens of that place. One of the things I enjoyed doing was, I'd get in my truck and take a drive and put my favorite girl on cam to cam and let her have a ride with me. Watch sunset.
That's incredible. So you would actually show her your neighborhood, or the country, and let her
Yep.
see it.
I, I,
Wow.
I live real close to some rural areas, so to drive out and see some timber or some water, or I like that. You seeing that look? You ain't been to the United States. Well, here's a Midwestern taste of it.
I love that. Even beyond this knowledge that you've brought up, which is very true on both ends, the members get to learn about wherever the model they're speaking to is from, and their reality in that place. And the models get to see and learn about wherever the member is, but I'm curious, I want to touch on another aspect of this symbiotic relationship, if you will. I've talked to a lot of the models, and they tell me that, working on this site is affording them the opportunity to get through school, to support their family, to pursue their dreams. And it's the members that make that possible for them. How does that make you feel, that your support is actually helping them advance in life?
I never considered it until, I was told how much my time spent helps. I don't know what kind of privacies or anything they're allowed to talk about. I've never been told by a model what they earn, but I know that when one tells you that you're helping me, that's a game changer. I remember when one of them was able to purchase a car, she made sure to share that day with me. And that's never forgotten.
Wow, that's so special. What I've learned from doing these interviews with members and models is that, in my eyes, both are making a difference in the other's life. You are making a difference in their life.
Completely agree. And I did not expect it. When you first come here, you don't think you're making change. But man, change happens to both sides of this camera.
Yeah.
It does. I'm happy I'm there. And I used to delete accounts all the time, Ty, because I thought if I deleted an account, maybe I'd have some more control over what I did here. But boy, when you realize how much you enjoy it, you give, and having a model tell you you can't keep deleting and leaving me no tools to know how you're doing. And so she's, there's it is both ways. I know that people might say, oh, tip chaser, just no. They real human beings with real feelings who care about you and want to know how you're doing.
Absolutely. I want to talk about some of your favorite models and that the relationship you have with them.
Well, I mentioned the girl who loves the dogs and likes to garden. We have many common interests in the outdoors. There's so many sweet girls who are genuine. You know, I mean, you can tell when somebody's doing a job or when somebody's loving what they do. The one I'll have in my heart forever. Every time I see somebody come to a room, she remembers who they are and remembers little details about maybe their last conversations. And so for a man like me in his 50s, who maybe is dealing with that lonely older time or midlife, I don't know what they want to call it. When somebody's paying attention to you, man, you pick up on that.
Yeah.
And so we decided to celebrate each brother's birthdays, and it was awesome. She made me this little box of different photos because, you know, I'd send her baby pics. She sent me baby pics and little photos of all the time we'd spent together. Man, it emotionally tugged at me. Like I did not expect anything like that in this place, and she made a friend forever that day, and it's awesome. It is.
If you could summarize the feeling, the main feeling that your favorite model gives you, what would it be?
Truly loves me.
Wow.
And I don't mean that in any kind of a we're gonna meet someday and get married sense.
Right.
This girl is genuine. She has a heart that cares about them all. She's wonderful. She's wonderful. There's no fraud.
So would you say that with your favorite model, your biggest draw is that you feel genuinely loved and genuinely appreciated? Is that it?
Without a doubt. Yeah, she wants to know how I am in my life. She knows about my children. She knows about my wife. She wants to know, we've shared so many things about each other. She wants to know that everything is well with me. In the beginning, it was hard. You know, you catch yourself getting jealous in these environments. But it took me a while, you know, to realize that I am unique to her. She has a job to do, and if I really care about her and her dreams, I gotta let her make her living, because to the best of my knowledge, LJ is providing more than she might be able to find in her country. And she's an educated woman.
Like you mentioned, you know, some of them that are from or in certain countries really don't have the option anywhere else to have this amount of time freedom and financial freedom.
Completely agree. Completely agree. That's you know, I've chatted with her enough to know that she not only loves what she does, and you can tell it by the way she interacts with people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've told her, you know, without you being in this place, I would have never met you. And she says the same to me. So she's taken a conviction about what she does. So I don't want to make it sound like she's here because she's desperate. She's educated, but LJ still provides her a better living, and one that she's proud to have.
What I've really gathered that you really value from the site is that you're able to easily, well, first and foremost, you were tired of the negativity on traditional social media. And secondly, it sounds like you really value being connected with like-minded people.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And that's the beauty of there. You know what I mean? You're kind of creating a friends list.
Yeah.
And no one's gonna try and force their opinion down you. I think I can't stress enough that the perspective I now have on the world is better.
I think that's why either traveling is so important for people,
Sure.
so that they can gain the same perspective that life looks differently almost everywhere else. Or a platform like Jasmine is providing that same benefit in regards to being able to talk to real people in real time about what's actually happening.
If I could mention the things that I love about LJ as far as the sexual things go.
Sure.
I have a good confidence that the cam models are safe. They're protected. Their identities are protected. They don't risk, like a porn star who's working every day, the venereals. I feel like these people get to do a job and still have a personal life. As far as, the lonely guys that may be going out and physically seeking attention via prostitution or call girl escort, whatever. Those models are always at risk. Not those models, those girls. And I feel happy knowing that in this place, nobody's physically at risk.
Right.
Emotionally, yes. Physically, no. The last couple of years, the loneliness did creep. The kids have moved on. You're not completely occupied in their lives like you once was. So I just couldn't imagine if I was a man in his 70s or 80s who'd widowed, and how lonely he must be. And there's a place like this that he can come find. Be told he's a gentleman.
Right.
To me, those are the most positive things I could see it doing for somebody. Is
Right.
providing a friendship for those who maybe have lost so much, or maybe could struggle to ever find it.
Absolutely. And as you've, shared so perfectly, the connections that are built are typically very genuine and authentic.
For sure. If they wasn't, I would have left a long time ago. I promise you that.
Yeah.
If I just came here for some short-term attention because things had hit a rocky moment, or a midlife crisis, or the empty nest, all whatever cliche you want to come up with, there's nothing short-term about my time here. I've been in chat rooms where I see users being ridiculously rude, and I'm not trying to be anybody's hero, but that'll prompt me to take that girl private and say, you ignore that asshole. It takes a strong person to do what you do, and I admire it. Good job, ladies. Providing for somebody who's lonely.
Do you feel like you feel more comfortable showing different sides to your personality or yourself on this platform than maybe you would with someone that you know in your day-to-day life?
It might be the best interview I've ever had. A very, very sensitive thing to me that I've harbored for years. But something as a child that I won't talk with most men. Someday I'm hoping to talk with my boys, and I see that's how deep this is. And it's nothing that happened to me. It's just something that happened to somebody else. And I don't want to say that I shared it with a complete stranger, because the person I did share with here is not. but I also knew sharing it with this person here was safe. That I can't say I can guarantee that anywhere else.
That's beautiful.
Most people, without doing their own research and time in here, are going to say, oh, that's bullshit. I'm trying to market something for somebody, or I'm been paid. Nah, man, it's real emotional friendship.
Wow. That is just beautiful. That is so beautiful. Thank you so much.